I mean, CHEST is known for its guidelines, and there are a number of sessions here that are highlighting either recently published or soon to be published guidelines. Our eagerly anticipated endobronchial ultrasound practice guidelines that were published electronically, I believe just a couple of weeks ago, is featured in a late-breaking session here, and we're incorporating elements of our bronchoscopy training guidelines that were published earlier this year as a part of that. CHEST has partnered with the Canadian Thoracic Society and several other organizations earlier to put together a set of guidelines on the management and prevention of acute exacerbations of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And so there's a variety of offerings that are available here, including one of our interactive symposia, which is sort of our first effort to provide our CHEST membership with longer, more cohesive sessions that offer a variety of different learning opportunities within a single session and maximize the deliverables that they'll walk out from those educational opportunities with, that they can then translate into clinical practice. CHEST really looks at itself as an educational leader when it comes to chest medicine, with a primary focus on both guideline development and optimal delivery of evidence-based content in clinical practice. So you're right, just publishing a guideline in and of itself is we've got ample literature out there to say that that's not sufficient, that there's a huge lag time between the publication of that and implementation in clinical practice. You know, it's one of the reasons why I believe so much in active learning and a variety of different learning delivery tools, because now, putting my hat on as the vice chair of our education committee here, we've worked very hard to start to develop a longitudinal strategy of educational delivery that complements the timing and publication of things like guidelines, to speed its dissemination through not just this conference, but through our e-learning platform and through a variety of other learning opportunities that CHEST offers throughout the year. And then, we have spent a fair amount of time thinking about the optimal ways to create and deliver decision support tools and other things that will help physicians translate that new knowledge into their daily practice, because everybody's busy and everybody has way too many demands in a given day. So if there's a way for us to help bridge that gap with the educational resources and clinical resources that we provide through CHEST, we think that's one of our very important goals to help the practicing clinician with state-of-the-art care. It's incredibly important, and our Guidelines Oversight Committee has actually carefully gone through what I think is a really exciting and innovative new process. As they develop guidelines now, because they're electronic, they can create a process of continuous review and updating. So these are living guidelines that can be rapidly updated and revised based on new and emerging literature, so that physicians who refer back to these documents in their electronic form will constantly receive the up-to-date literature summarized in that content, as opposed to waiting the typical lag time that we used to face. A guideline is a tremendous amount of effort, right? Not to mention time and expense. And so waiting until enough had changed to warrant going through and rewriting a whole new guideline used to be sometimes 5 or so years before that process went through. Now with our living guideline process, we'll be doing that continuously.